Welcome to part 3 of Ribber School, the Mylars.
Welcome to part 3 of the Ribber School. Today we get to add the Mylars and do some more fun stitches.
Pin tuck.
First up, pin tuck. We're going to use card 11, pattern 31. I got some Mylars rented to me for a week. So here we go. I'm just going to load it up. Make sure that I have my right width. That's 48, 49, 50. Okay. On goes my machine. I need a second cup, third cup, nothing else. We are in full needle rib. Half pitch. 0, 0, 0, 1, 1. Russell levers are where they're supposed to be. I got to put down my N1 and adjust the width. Okay, my N1 is going to be around center. Oop. That's not center. That's center. Okay, now I'm going to do my cast on and then we'll do the changes we need to do. Now, the difference is in the foundation rows. So we're going to turn to C. It says main bed goes to 1, ribber goes to 3, and that one goes to 0. Do our foundation rows, and then we're going to put the machine into slip and turn off the inspection light. Foundation rows done. Inspect light off. Now, slip, tension 3, tension 4. That back to 0. Now it says we just knit and it does the magic. So let's see what kind of magic we get. Here we go. Okay. I'm going to add extra weight. We're going to go through this card twice. Okay, we're now going to take this off of slip, move that up to 4, and knit a couple rows. Let's see what we've got. Okay, so this is what we've got. On that side is that. It's kind of a cool pattern. Kind of forms little bumps and textures. It's kind of cool.
Tuck rib.
Now we're going to dive into tuck rib. It has the exact same setup. as the last one. So same foundation row, and then we do our circular rows in tensions 1 and 3, and then we go into a tuck feature. Again, this is card 1, pattern 6. Okay, our setup. Tension 3 on the ribber, 1 on the main bed. We're turning the ribber to O, to C, foundation rows, and then we switch. Okay, so our change is to same tension on both. That goes up to tuck. This goes to 0. Inspection light goes off. And now we're going to knit through the punch card twice. Okay, Mylar twice. Here we go. You can see how it's doing some tucks features. I'm going to add weight again because I don't like how it's looking. Okay, gonna cut it. And here we go. Where the tucks are, there's little holes. And on the back, you don't see anything. This makes for nice flat baby blankets and other unique projects.
Drive lace.
I'm going to read you a short passage from page 81 and 82 of your manual. It says to set the machine controls as instructed. Arrange the needles as instructed and knit from left to right with waste yarn. When suspending the cast-on comb without weights, insert it so that the teeth face ribber sinker posts as illustrated. Place the pea carriage without the presser on the right side of the needle bed. Refer to page 60. Move the pea carriage to the left and back again so that the stitches are removed and the needles align in B position again. Set your cam lever to slip and knit 3 rows with waste yarn. Place the pea carriage on the left side of the ribber needle bed. Refer to page 60 and slide it to the right to push the needles to C position. Exchange your waste yarn for main yarn in the yarn feeder and knit from left to right. Slide the pea carriage on the ribber from left to right. Knit from right to left. Push both end needles on the knitter to A position. Slide the pea carriage on the ribber from the left to the right to push the needles up into C position. Set the pattern card and push off the inspection button. Knit 1 row from left to right. On the ribber, all the needles in C position should knit. And on the knitter, only the needles selected knit. Push up ribber needles to C position using the pea carriage. Knit 1 row from right to left. Remove the stitches on the knitter using the pea carriage and then knit 1 row from left to right. Repeat 2, 2-3 to 2-5 for main knitting. So what we're going to do is a broken toe cast on, and then we're going to remain knitting on the ribber before we switch from waste yarn to our main yarn. So we will start with waste yarn, which today is yellow, and we will knit across. For this knitting technique, you want to have both end needles on the ribber, and the main bed is 1 stitch in, if that makes any sense. If I didn't say it before, we will be doing a broken toe cast on. If you do not get your ribber comb in exactly where they want you to put it, your entire work will fall onto your toes, breaking your toes. Okay, what you can see here is that the teeth go in between the main bed stitches, so that when we drop the main bed, those loops get caught on the teeth. How do we operate our pea carriage? Pretty easy. Goes this way. Sometimes. Other times we go this way. Okay, so that way. So those line up again. So annoying. Then it goes that way and it drops. Now we'll put weight on the comb. As always, I start with small ones. And that drops it without it dropping on my toes. So now we're going to put the machine into slip. We're going to change the tension on the main bed to 6. And the ribber onto 4. We do not put the ribber into 0 because it will be the only thing knitting. So this is how it goes. Watch our tension here. If you feel scared that it's going to drop, lift it up, knit across. Same direction, lift it up, knit across. You'll see that the main bed never knit at all. Now, one of the things it does say is that you need to move the end needles on the main bed so that you have 2 on the ribber on both. Okay, we're just at step 6 where it says to put the pea carriage on the ribber. Slide it to the right. Needles are in C position. We will now swap yarns. Back to our favorite little pink yarn. There it is. All right. So now it says to knit left to right. So left to right. Pea carriage, left to right. Right to left. We did the A position already. Slide the P carriage. Turn off our inspection light. Turning off the inspection light. Off the inspection light. Knit one row from left to right. On the ribber, all the needles to C position have knit, and then we have the main bed where they did their thing. So now we go push up the ribber using the P carriage. Slide the carriage, set the pattern. Push up the ribber needles. Okay, so it doesn't say to drop them just yet. So we're going to go like this. And I'm going to knit again. So drop them. We should go to C. One, two. Right, left, up. One, two, right, left, one, and back. Okay, I'm going to go through this one more time, and then I'll take it off and you can see what it looks like. Alright, so what is the big deal about this one? Well, you can see how you have lacy holes. Where it dropped, what would have been slipped. So it's almost a full lace, and it works really well if you don't have a lace carriage. Way better than thread lace.
Pile knitting.
And now the most unique knitting that the Singer 560 does, that the brother does not. This is pile knitting. This is along the same lines as our drop lace or drive lace, but you use two different yarns, a ground yarn and a working yarn, and you make loops. So we get to use the P carriage with its little connection on it, and we're still using a full needle rib, but we will be removing 4 stitches from the top in order to do this wonderful pattern. So what is our first step? Well, that is to actually choose your yarn. It wants me to use a woolly nylon and then a normal yarn. So I'm going to go through my stash of woolly nylon and see what I can find. Okay, the setup for pile knitting is very similar to the drive lace or drop lace. We have main bed is inside the ribber bed needles by 1 stitch. We're going to do the same cast on as we did for the drop lace, but we are not going to drop the waste yarn and change yarns. Yeah, I know, it doesn't make any sense, but it will soon. Another huge difference is that we will start at tension 6 and tension 4 for our foundation row. Just to be clear, I'm going to knit across with my thicker yarn. Okay, I'm now going to put in my comb. And yeah, we're going to drop it again, so hold still. Just like with drop lace, we're going to put it into slip. We are not putting that into 0. We are going to release the main bed, and then we're going to knit a couple of rows just on the ribber, and then we're going to switch our yarns around. So here we go. On. One, 2. Now, put these all up if you want them to really knit off. Okay. I really want this one to stick on here, so I'm going to reverse it so that it'll knit. Oh, I'm on a gate peg, 1 second. All right, gonna knit across. One. Two. 3. Alrighty, now we get to do something completely different. We are going to move our edge markers here to 24 and 24. We're going to move 1, 2, 3. Four back, and 1, 2, 3, 4 back there. So we don't have a lot up top. We are now going to move the ribber up. Okay. We're cutting this yarn. Now, in your ribber thing, there is this little feeder here. You need to fish one of the yarns through this feeder. And I have to figure out which one it is. Okay, so it says that my thick yarn stays in here, so it'll go down, and the thin yarn will go in the auxiliary feeder through this little loop first, and then into the auxiliary feeder. So I will do that with double eye transfer. If I am doing this right, then this woolly nylon will be on the back of the knitting, and the thicker yarn will make the loops. So, putting it in. Okay. Now for mental health, put that down gently. tie these two together. Just in case one breaks. Okay. So they're together. I'm now going to put it back on the machine and then drop it between the beds. Okay, the only way we're going to know if this is right is if we try it. So we're now turning off the inspection light. And I'm going to knit across. All right, we have loops. And now it says to do back and forth with the P carriage. And then just keep repeating that every single time. All right. So. 1, 2. Now I have catching here. Always. Find out who's looping. Okay. Now you'll see some of these don't knit off. Take your transfer tool, go through them. All right, let's try this again, see what happens. Up to C. Up, down, as usual. Caught. Does this usually get caught? Actually, no. But I'm going to put some extra weight on it. Okay. Uh-oh. Those ones aren't in. Okay. Right. Left. 1, 2. By rights, this little fin here is supposed to be pushing these down. But you can see how my wonderful stitches have decided they don't care. Nobody's caught. The usual monsters are caught. I'm going to go through this card twice and then I'll take it off. Alright, we went through this entire card one time. Cutting my yarns. Securing my yarns. And taking off my weights. So what did we get? Well, we got some 8s. Practical application, kids' sweaters, towels, face cloths, dishcloths, whatever you want to do with it. Okay, we have tuck rib, drive lace, pile knitting, and pin tucking. I don't think I did the pin tucking quite right, but you get the idea. What's next? The YC5 and the RJ1.